We're just waiting for the recorder to come on before we start the meeting. Good morning. It's October 14th, 2025. It's a little bit after 9 o'clock, and you're at the Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors meeting. If you would, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation by Pastor Joe Duran, the City Ministry Network. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's remain standing as I pray. What a privilege it is to represent City Ministry Network, being able to pray for our individuals in our county today. I don't take this lightly. This is a privilege. So let me go ahead and pray. Gracious and Almighty Father, we want to thank you for the gift of this new day and for the privilege of gathering here to serve the people of Stanislaus County. We're grateful for this land, from the fertile fields that sustain us to the communities that enrich our lives with diversity, hard work, and hope. Lord, we ask your blessing upon each member of this board. Grant them clarity of mind, steadiness of purpose, and compassion in every decision that they make. May they lead with integrity, humility, and sincere desire to seek the common good. Bless all of us who call this county home, our families, our farmers, our workers, our educators, first responders, and those in need of healing or opportunity. Father, we pray that unity would prevail where there is division, and hope would take root where there is struggle. Guide this meeting with wisdom and respect, and may the work be done here today bring lasting benefit and honor to the people that we serve. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, first up, we're going to be having Employee Service Awards presentations. We'll be recognizing employees with 25 years of service and one with 35 years of service. First up, Christine, you're doing all of these.
Good morning, Chairman Condit, Supervisors, Mr. Hayes and Mr. Bose. I'm here today to first recognize Maria Magallon for 25 years of service. Maria began her career as a Stanislaus County employee in 2000 and worked as an administrative clerk 2 at Health Services Agency in the scheduling unit. She transferred to Community Services Agency in September of 2001 and worked in the court, shelter care, and foster care units in child welfare as an administrative clerk 2 until 2005. From 2005 to 2006, she continued her work in the System Improvement Unit. During her time in this area, she developed a more effective data tracking system. In 2006, she became the live scan operator for all of Child Welfare Services, meaning she fingerprinted anyone who was interested in being a caregiver for a foster youth and managed all of that paperwork. From 2008 to 2016, she worked in the Emergency Response Intake Unit. In this position, she processed child abuse or neglect reports, provided Spanish language interpretation for social worker staff, and continued to be the live scan operator. From 2016 to 2023, she's worked in the Adoptions Unit and also continued to be the live scan operator and offered Spanish language interpretation services to staff in child welfare. In 2023, Maria was promoted to an Administrative Clerk 3, where she currently works in the Family Reunification Program. During her time as Administrative Clerk 3, Maria has taken on different tasks, such as ensuring bus passes are provided to families that need them, processing the Emergency Child Care Program documents to ensure youth have child care, and completes monthly reports to the state. She also processes the travel requests for anyone in the Family Reunification Program traveling out of the area. Over the course of her employment, she has received many accolades. Letter of recognition for the Foster Parent Appreciation Dinner, kudos from Resource Parents, kudos from a former assistant director, and recognition of her time in supporting end-of-summer festivals, just to name a few. Maria is an excellent team player and is very resourceful and knowledgeable in many areas. The county, the agency, her supervisors, and peers are very lucky to have such a thoughtful and caring employee in Maria. I too have gotten to work with her for many years, and she's a shining star in our county family. So congratulations, Maria, for 25 years.
Thank you. Thank you, Christine, and thank you to everyone that came today to be part of the celebration. And I just want to say I've thoroughly enjoyed working for Stanislaus County and Child Protective Services, Child Welfare Services, and I hope to have another 25 years.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, skills, and abilities, especially with the service to our families here in Stanislaus County. We really appreciate it, and I'm going to hold you to that next 25 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have family here?
Yes, my husband.
Bring him up. Bring him up. Come on. Good. I'll even let you in right now.
You're dressed up so nice.
Marlene. Marlene Cervantes began her career at Community Service Agency in 1997. She worked as a temporary employee in various areas until she was hired as a full-time data processor in 2000. In 2006, Marlene's position was reclassified as an administrative clerk 2, which focused on supporting administrative functions. In 2014, Marlene promoted to an administrative clerk 3, supporting multiple units with finance and accounting. In 2002, Marlene promoted to an accounting technician working in CSA's travel unit, where she supports staff with travel-related expenses, employee reimbursements, purchasing card transactions, client-related purchases made with vouchers, and dispersing petty cash. Marlene provides excellent customer service to both CSA employees and external vendors. Marlene is an excellent trainer and constantly seeks self-improvement. She trains new staff on updated processes and regularly uses LinkedIn Learning to expand her knowledge. Marlene has contributed to the transition from paper-based to digital operation in various positions throughout her career. Marlene is a skilled trainer and mentor. She's kind, caring, and very patient. Marlene comes to work with a smile every day. Her positive attitude is contagious. She was always willing to help and provide feedback. She works well with others. She is reliable. When she has a task, she will complete it within that time frame. Marlene is a problem solver. Given enough time, Marlene will analyze the situation and come up with a solution to best fit that scenario. Marlene uses these traits to find process improvements. Lastly, Marlene is the office coffee club coordinator, and this ensures her coworkers are alert and energetic throughout the day. From 2017 through 2019, Marlene was the CSA Wellness Challenge lead. She organized and led a workplace wellness challenge, engaging coworkers with their families in healthy activities. Marlene provided resources and encouraged increased water intake, improved eating habits, and daily movement. She tracked progress and set goals. Top participants were recognized with rewards and incentives. The CSA Wellness Challenge helped foster a culture of well-being at CSA. Marlene has been married to Adrian since 2007. She is the youngest of 7 siblings. Marlene has been in a bowling league since 2016, and her favorite destination is Hawaii. So congratulations, Marlene, on 25 years.
Marlene, you want to turn around?
Oh. You can use this mic. Now I can face everybody. I wanted to thank everybody for coming for my 25 years plus. I had worked temporary before I got hired permanent in 2000. I want to thank all my managers and supervisors that I had over the past years. They had encouraged me to keep on going and to do what I'm doing now, and that's how I got where I am today. And I don't know where I'm going to go from here. I would like to retire in a few years, but you never know. I could still be here but not. I don't think I'll make it 25 more years. Thank you all.
Marlene, thank you for your service to the people of Stanislaus County, and it sounds like you are the person that keeps CSA running and doing all the problem solving there. Thank you so much for your service. Do you have family?
Yeah, my sister Cheryl, she came today.
Come on up.
Surprised me, actually. I didn't expect her to come. Proud of you.
Right.
Next is Camille. So Camille Perino Amarante has worked in the Community Service Agency for 25 years as a child welfare social worker. Her career started in 2000 when she was hired in the Emergency Response Unit. After 3 years there, she transferred to the Adoptions Unit, where she spent the next 8 years. She transferred back to the Emergency Response Intake Unit before finally transferring to her current position in the Family Maintenance Unit, where she's been working for the past 11 years. In her current role, she assists families who are in need by providing support and connecting them to community resources so their children are not abused or neglected again. In May 2007, Camille was publicly recognized by the agency for her role in coordinating the decorations at the annual Foster and Adoptive Parent Appreciation Dinner. From 2004 to 2019, Camille annually volunteered to put in the hard work of training interns from CSU Stanislaus. This is a task that takes great dedication. In July 2015, Camille was promoted to a Social Worker 5, the highest ranking level of a social worker in the county. Camille has willingly accepted extra assignments from Emergency Response Unit during her time in family maintenance when they were short-staffed and in need of social workers to complete investigations. Camille is known amongst her peers as having a strong yet fun and vibrant personality. She has a big and caring heart, not only for her peers, but for the community of people she serves. Camille is always up for having a good time or sharing a laugh, a quality that is uplifting to many in her career that often experiences traumatic events. Camille has readily stepped in to assist her coworkers when needed and is always ready to help with a smile on her face. During Camille's time in the Adoptions Unit, she attended and volunteered for several community events to promote and recognize adoptive families. Camille has spent several years as a liaison for commercially sexually exploitation of children. Camille has volunteered to help within the community for various services for the homeless population as well. 25 years working as a child welfare social worker is no small feat and is something to be recognized and proud of. In the field, social workers are exposed to seeing very traumatic and heart-wrenching stories within our community. Camille's willingness and desire to help those at-risk families is evident, and she should be commended for this. More than anything, her ability to uplift not only the families she works with, but also her peers in the office is what makes her a joy to be around. I personally have got to work with Camille for these 25 years, and she definitely is, it's great to recognize her today. Congratulations, Camille, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you to my family, my parents who came this morning. Back, Lita and Pete Perino. We started out as social workers together. Now you're running a place. What can I say? It's been a journey. It's been exciting and rewarding. I actually have been in the building since '96. I didn't put don't put it. Volunteering, undergrad volunteering, and graduate school, I just truly enjoy helping others. It brings me joy. Anyways, I'm gonna cry. I'm nervous. Thank you so much, and my parents. You come up and take a picture with me. I know you hate pictures, Mom, but this is a big deal.
Camille, thank you for your service. At 25 years as a social worker, you're out there doing the Lord's work, as my colleague Terry Withrow likes to say, and you're out there making a difference.
Thank you. Very much. I'm the third generation Mexican American to obtain my degree. I just kind of want to dedicate this to my parents. They instilled in me to achieve higher education. I'm the third generation Mexican American to get my master's degree.
Tana May. Tana May joined Stanislaus County Community Service Agency in November of 1999 as an eligibility worker 1-2. Now reclassified as a family service specialist 2, Tana has proudly and consistently held her role for 25 years and has brought dedication, professionalism, and is an invaluable member of the team. Over the years, she has supported and held the role at the Hackett main office, the now closed Riverbank office, and currently supports our community at the Oakdale community office. Throughout the years, Tana has supported our community with delivering essential services such as CalWorks, CalFresh, and Medi-Cal. She is often described having a positive attitude, approachable, and a team player who cares and assists her coworkers and community. Tana has demonstrated commitment and expertise. Her deep program knowledge has made her a trusted resource, a support to others, and a mentor who plays a vital part of our team. A notable achievement was that Tana completed the state certification for statewide fingerprinting imaging system in 2007 and performed the requirements at the Riverbank community offices. She learned how to maintain the equipment and became a resource for the agency. Tana enjoys learning new things and often shares with her team. Tana is known for her wonderful sense of humor, whether it's sharing a lighthearted joke or finding happiness and humor in everyday moments. Tana enjoys laughing and has an appreciation for comedy as she enjoys sharing that joy with others. Tana is committed to her work and the community she serves. Learning new things that impact the community in a positive manner is important to her. Tana is actively involved in the outreach committee and participates in events to provide the community with information about the resources and programs we administer. Over the past year, on behalf of CSA, she has participated in events such as the Salida Elementary Back to School event and the Department of Child Support's Kids Connect event, where Tana engaged with almost 900 individuals in Stanislaus County. This reflects her commitment to giving back and supporting the broader community, demonstrating her dedication to the vision of our county. Tana enjoys traveling to see her family out of state. She goes on road trips with her family a couple times a year. She has remained steadfast in her commitment to her job and her peers. She is a sounding board, a mentor, and someone that epitomizes our mission, vision, and values. She is patient and kind and always ready to offer support wherever it is needed. Congratulations on 25 years.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming, for your families and your friends. I didn't drag my family out of bed this morning. But I got my work family here, so thank you. And Lisa, Shannon, Sonia, Ty, Noel, and everyone. Thank you. Yeah. So when you go over my work history, it's not too hard, right? I've been in intake for over 25 years. So I make it easy. There's a saying that I read before. It says, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. And I say, I'm still happy where I'm at. Yeah, I've been in Oakdale for 16 years. Now this month completes 16 years when they opened, for intake. And then, and I love it. I've always had wonderful coworkers, they're like family. We get along so well. So I enjoy where I'm at and I stay. And I enjoy serving the community there too. And it's fun because we know, we see the same families, so we know them. So it's been fun. All right, thank you.
Tana, thank you for your personality and service to the people of Stanislaus County. You're the type of person that just keeps things moving along and keeping a smile on people's faces when they come to work and they see you. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's bring it.
Bring your work family.
Bring your work family.
Next time I'll get it.
Another 25.
All right, thank you.
Jessica Juarez. Jessica Juarez is celebrating 25 years. She started at CSA on July 3rd, 2000 as an account clerk 2. On July 15th, 2001, she was promoted to an account clerk 3. In October 20th, 2002, she promoted to a supervising account and admin clerk in the Child Care Subsidy Payment Unit. On February 20th, 2005, she was promoted to an accounting supervisor in fiscal operations. Throughout her tenure, Jessica has not only become an expert in her field, but also earned the admiration and respect of her colleagues for her professionalism and exceptional leadership. When Jessica first joined CSA, she didn't know much about welfare or even what the department did, but with an open mind and a willing heart, she embraced the challenge and quickly became an invaluable member of the team. Over the years, she's been central to key transitions from paper systems to C4 and eventually CalSAWS, which is our current welfare integration software. In each of these transitions, Jessica not only adapted to the new systems, but also helped shape guidelines and trained her team, ensuring the success of these shifts. Most recently, the transition from her team has been to paperless and working remotely. Jessica is detail-oriented and passionate about her work. She deeply cares for those she works with and her family. She's dedicated to producing quality work and has high standards of ethics. Jessica's dedication, leadership, and warm heart have made CSA a better place, and she has helped us all grow alongside with her. Outside of work, Jessica is a devoted mother who cherishes supporting her children in their activities, whether it's sports competition or creative projects. She has a love for gardening, learning to quilt, and experimenting with new recipes in the kitchen. If you ever need a recipe or a travel tip, Jessica is your go-to. Her passion for family, creativity, and lifelong learning is evident in everything she does. Looking ahead, Jessica plans to continue her work with CSA for another 10 years before she retires, not to slow down, but to travel and spend even more time with her family. We all know that with Jessica, there will never be a shortage of creative and meaningful pursuits, no matter where life takes her. Congratulations, Jessica, on 25 years.
Thank you for this recognition. I want to say thank you to those from our department who had the opportunity to come out and join us today so that we could all celebrate together. I recognize many of the 25 years that started around the same time I did, and all the faces from different areas and units and sections within the department. At some point, we've engaged, and it's just been a wonderful experience. I am blessed to have served this community, and I'm so thankful to be able to continue doing so. That would not have been possible without my family, who's joined me today, and except my daughter, she's at college, but I'm very thankful and appreciative for this opportunity. Thanks so much.
Jessica, thank you for your leadership and your professionalism and service to the people of Stanislaus County. It's people like you that every day get things done. Thank you.
Alicia Martinez, who's celebrating 35 years with the county. Alicia started with the Department of Social Service, which Community Services is known today, on July 12, 1990 as a typist clerk 2. She then promoted to eligibility worker 1-2 and completed Medi-Cal continuing training in April of 1994. Alicia moved over from the scenic Oakdale Road office to the new CSA building in 1996, merged to a unit that worked a generic caseload that included working CalWorks, CalFresh, and Medi-Cal programs. In 2001, she enrolled at Modesto Junior College and took evening classes after work, and at the end of 2004, obtained her Human Services certificate. In 2005, Alicia promoted to Family Service Specialist 3 in the Welfare to Work section, where she is still currently assigned. Alicia has been helping families to reduce barriers by determining and issuing benefits, providing coaching and counseling, and helping them with supportive services. She helps community members gain employable skills and continuously guide them towards self-sufficiency. Although at times it was very difficult, Alicia's greatest accomplishment was being able to complete the requirement to attain her Human Services certificate to promote to where she is today. Alicia was able to achieve this while raising her family and working full-time for about 3 years. Alicia is a positive person with a sense of humor. She is loyal and trustworthy. She possesses strong work ethic and is a true team player. Alicia is an independent and hardworking individual. In 1996, during the floods that affected Stanislaus County, Alicia signed up to assist in the temporary shelter that opened in Newman, California. Alicia is a proud mom of 2 daughters and 2 grandchildren who are 11 and 5, and she's looking forward to retiring in the next few months to help take care of her grandkids. Congratulations, Alicia, for 35 years. Thank you.
Good morning. First of all, it's been a blink of an eye. 35 years went by really fast. I want to thank my daughters. Were my motivation at one time and are my support now. My past co-workers, because somehow they were able to contribute to the knowledge that I have now, and to my current co-workers that are here today also supporting me. I appreciate everybody. Everybody, thank you so much.
35 years. You know, when it comes to words, I don't think you can put into words 35 years other than just say, thank you for your service. Thank you.
While they're walking up afterwards, can we have all the honorees out meet in the foyer for a picture?
All right, next up is an update on the Sheriff's Law Enforcement Services partnership with Stanislaus Regional Transit Center. Lieutenant Brock Condit and Sergeant Adam Stovall. Morning,
Good
brother.
morning. Good morning, CEO Hayes, Chairman Condit, Supervisors, Council Bose. I'm Brock Condit. I'm a lieutenant with the Sheriff's Office, and one of my duties is I oversee the Regional Transit Authority safety and enforcement. We're staffed with a lieutenant, sergeant, and 2 deputies. So we're going to give an update about the contract that we went into in July, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to come give you and the public an update of what we've been doing there and the great work that our deputies have been doing. So thank you. Sergeant Stowe. So on July, it's actually 22nd, the Board of Supervisors approved the sheriff to enter into a retroactive law enforcement service agreement with the Regional Transit Authority for a period of July 1, 25 through June 30th of 26. Members of the Sheriff's CRU unit, the Community Resource Unit, conducted a site survey, a walkthrough of the facility to see what the needs were, talk with the employees there, and also the people riding the buses and see what was needed, what were the concerns that needed to be addressed. On July 30th of this year, an internal recruitment was sent out to our deputies to submit their memos of interest for the 2 positions that we had open. There were 5 memos of interest when the IR closed, and we selected Deputy Justin Kamara and Deputy Corbin Alanis, who we brought with us also today, so you can meet them. They began their first shift on August 9th of 25. And then August 1st actually began on July 26th. As you see, through August 9th, we had CRU deputies who were covering those 2 shifts that run Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and then Saturday from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. So during those hours and during those days, the Sheriff's Office is responsible for the safety and enforcement of not only the transit center at 1001 9th Street, but also the buses that run throughout the county and all the cities and unincorporated areas of our county. And during those months, deputies made 105 arrests. These arrests were for a variety of reasons: narcotics, theft, robbery, trespassing, fighting, and warrants. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Sergeant Stovall so you can speak with him, and he'll go over some of the stats that we're seeing.
Hello, everyone. On screen is a picture of the front of the transit center, and on the picture on the right is the lobby where we see a lot of the crimes occurring. Also, the lobby is a spot where customers can come in and charge their electronics. And so one of the incidences that I'm going to mention here today, that on September 25th, Deputy Corbin Alanis was on site at the transit center, but outside when an unidentified female stole a cell phone that was charging and left unattended briefly. The female suspect immediately took the phone and fled from the transit center. This is when Deputy Alanis began his investigation, and at that point was unable to locate the female. He was able to review surveillance footage and shared that information with deputies to be on the lookout for her. This is just a quick video. You can see she's hiding her face, but the transit center has a ton of cameras that captured. This is just one angle. The following day, the female suspect was spotted again at the transit center wearing the same clothes from the day prior. She was ultimately arrested and a full confession was obtained. The cell phone was recovered and returned back to the victim. This is just one example of the hard work and dedication of our deputies. On screen is just some of the stats. We've been here a short time. Only August and September are the full months that we've had there. July and October are partial months. As mentioned previously, August we had 105 arrests. for various different crimes. September, it shows to be about half the amount of arrests, but this just shows that crime is down, not that our deputies are slowing down at all. So proactive enforcement is our key to success, and just a breakdown of just a few of the different crimes that we are seeing at the transit center. Sure.
Well, thank you, Brock and Adam and team. And this presentation actually ultimately stems from another presentation on county security from last year. And Terry had brought up the idea of the Transit Authority, and they were looking for law enforcement services. And the funny thing, I actually thought Terry didn't quite understand what county security did at the time, but completely flowed. We met with the RTA, and obviously this is a result of that. And so, Terry, thank you for bringing that up, because it's what triggered all of this. Thanks to the board for approving it, and thanks to the team, Justin and Corbin, just incredible work down there. I visited Corbin a month ago down there, 6 weeks. I always think everything was like just a couple weeks ago, and it's probably 2 months. But anyway, and the overwhelming response from both the employees and the staff there and the legitimate users of our transit authority or our transit system is appreciation for what our team is doing, because it makes it a much safer environment. So thank you all for that. And pending any questions from the board.
Any questions?
No questions. Just want to thank you guys for what you're doing. You guys come to the Stan RTA meetings, present there. We appreciate that. And it's just night and day compared to what we had going on there before. We had the security that was hired that basically was kind of a deterrence, but they really couldn't do anything. And now this place has become so much safer, so much more rideable for everybody, and just appreciate all the hard work all you guys are doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely want to take this opportunity to publicly recognize both these deputies and their passion and hard work. They've been doing a tremendous job. That was one of the biggest concerns that they saw when they walked through to speak with the employees and the people there, is that they didn't feel safe riding the bus. There was a lot of crime going on around them, and they wanted that cleaned up. And we see that they've been doing the hard work to do that. Every single time that I've stopped by there to visit with them and talk with them, and maybe you too can account for this, that there's not a day that goes by that someone from the public doesn't come up and thank you for being there, because now they feel safe again to ride the transit system. So I just want to thank both of you for your dedication and your hard work.
Yeah, I think you always need to recognize it's not just the transit center. That place looks fantastic. It's completely transformed it, but it's the transit system, which means, and I know there were a few assaults on bus drivers. So you may have to stop. I think they stopped the bus before someone showed up, arrested someone who was riding a few times. So it's the transit system countywide that we're protecting the riders as well as the employees. Thank you.
You hear it every day. Bus drivers are always saying how great it is now, and the difference is like night and day. And you also hear it from the public, and I just want to say great job. Any others? Thanks. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for the update. Okay, next up is public comment, and we're going to acknowledge written comments. We have multiple written comments in support of traffic safety and stop sign or stoplight installation at Grayson and Shiloh. So public comment is a time for those in attendance to speak on items not already on today's agenda. Please state your name for the record, direct all comments towards the dais, and so that it is fair for every speaker, keep comments to the 5-minute time limit. Hold on, sir. I've got a list I'm going to go through.
Oh,
okay. I've got Donna Linder. Where are you at?
Good morning.
Morning.
Donna Linder, County Clerk Recorder, Registrar of Voters. I just wanted to remind everyone there's an election on November 4th. A special election was called by our governor. So we've been working diligently to get that done. We have tested all of our equipment, ready to go out to the vote centers. Our staffing has been trained. In 2021, Assembly Bill 37 was passed that made California all vote by mail. So we have mailed all of our ballots out to our voters last Monday, October 6th. One thing I wanted to mention, this election was signed to go ahead 74 days before the election. Normally we're given 145. So we had to go out and find vote centers for citizens to vote at in person. And because the owners have to agree to allow us to be there for 10 days or 4 days, normally we would have 32. For this election, we only have 11. So 5 vote centers will open on October 25th. 5 more on November 1st, and then November 2nd, we will have 1 more vote center open. Just as a perspective, for June, we already have all of our contracts for all the vote centers and the drop boxes. So that's kind of why it took so long. If you don't know where to go to drop off your ballot or to vote in person, we sent a postcard with all the locations, and in the ballot there's a pamphlet. Because it is a statewide election, everyone will receive a state voter information guide. There's been a little bit of controversy on the news lately about a hole in the envelope that allows you to see your vote. Every county creates their own envelopes. So Stanislaus County, we do not have a hole in the middle of our envelope. As a matter of fact, our envelopes have privacy. We're voters too, we don't want you to see what we do. And then there is a hole, but it's over on the left-hand side for the visually impaired to see where to mark their ballot. So voters in Stanislaus County don't have to worry about that hole showing anything on their ballot. That's it. Everyone vote on November 4th.
Thank you, Donna.
Thanks.
Next up is Lou Friedman.
Chairman Condit, members of the board, Executive Hayes, and Consul Bose. My name is Louis Friedman. My wife Kenny and I are next door neighbors to Sierra Walsh, whose daughter was tragically killed as she was exiting Camp Taylor. Avery had helped my wife Kenny with a political fundraiser at our home, and she also attended another one just trying to be involved in the community. Kenny and I feel a need to leave Modesto in Stanislaus County better than we've found it. And after Avery's accident, we feel a need to improve the safety at the Shiloh and Grayson intersection is a compelling need that needs to be urgently addressed. We feel a sense of urgency, and I'm a little red-faced it's taken us this long to get in front of the board to raise this issue. But the Camp Taylor team wanted Kenny or I to be here as part of the presentation, and we had some travel plans, and then you gentlemen were in budget, and we thought that was probably not the best time to be coming to see you about this. Today's not really about the tragic accident that took young Avery's life, but it's what we can do in her name to make this a safer place for the future. We've gathered statistics on the accidents in the area and have delivered that to all of you and have provided extra copies to the clerk if any of your offices need those or anyone in the audience wants it. The traffic on Grayson Road has really changed a lot. We now have distribution centers in the Patterson area for Amazon, Kohl's, Grainger, CVS, and Restoration Hardware. That creates a lot of traffic on Grayson Road, both trucks and passenger vehicles going to and from the Patterson area. And really, Grayson is the best shot to get to Modesto without going all the way up to 132 to get over the river. So that has really increased the traffic. Now we also have the Dos Rios State Park, which is opened on Shiloh Road, and that's going to be bringing additional traffic into that intersection. And the change of the use of the Camp Taylor area from an honor farm to the medical camp that is there now has increased the amount of traffic exiting through the Camp Taylor area onto the Shiloh and Grayson area. This morning you are going to hear from emergency responders, the executive director of Camp Taylor, Friends of Camp Taylor, and Avery's mother. If you have any questions, any of the speakers, please ask them when they are up. And if you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to take them now or just after a couple of closing remarks at the end. First speaker I'd like to ask to come up is Shannon Evans, who is the chief of the Westport Fire District, and they provided the emergency response to Avery's accident and other areas, other accidents in that area.
Thank you, Luke.
Before we start with the next speaker, I did want to just share a couple of words on behalf of the county organization. First, I wanted to thank everybody who was here this morning. Thank you, Mr. Friedman, for kicking us off and for helping organize the effort. I see a lot of faces in the audience that we've known for many years and known your good work and service in the community. A couple of things I think it's important for everyone to know as we listen to public comment this morning and what you can expect. I think it's really important to know what you can expect from the county organization and the information that we've received so far. I do want you to know that we did receive this request, a formal request here recently, and our team did initiate work right away in response to the request. I want to share my appreciation for our Public Works team. They are the ones who are responsible for the formal analysis and any recommendations before the Board of Supervisors. And I just want to share with you the folks that will be working on this. So that'll be our Public Works Director, Dave Lehman, who's in the back, but he's supported in this effort by a traffic engineer, James Ashby. Mr. Ashby's already initiated work to try to support this process, and I wanted to share with you some of the steps that it takes in California for us to respond to this. It unfortunately is a legal process you have to go through to consider requests for improvements at intersections. The first thing that we'll do is data collection. The team, or I'm sorry, the group, the community group that shared information actually brought to us a lot of data as well, but you can expect Mr. Ashby and his team to look at traffic volumes, speed in the intersection. There's no question that there's noticeable increases in speed there. They'll look at history of incidents like this one or others going back through time. They'll also be looking at things like sight distance, visibility conditions, and other things. They are required to take that data, so this is a state requirement, to take that data and compare it to the standards that are necessary within the state in order to put in place any traffic mitigation measures. So once we've completed that analysis, gathered our data, and compared it to those standards, they'll ultimately complete an engineering analysis. And then that analysis with recommendations will come back to this board. And of course, you're welcome to participate in that process as well. You'll see a formal recommendation come back to this board, hopefully rather soon. But I did want to let you know that they do have to go through those steps before we can bring something back to the board for a formal recommendation. And then the last thing I want to acknowledge is just on behalf of the entire county organization and this leadership team, our condolences for the family and all those friends, everyone impacted. Obviously, Avery was very, very well loved in our community and supported. This has been a tremendous loss for the entire community and especially for the family and those who were closest to Avery. Many of us up here have spent quite a bit of time at Camp Taylor, and we know some of the folks there. We know how much of a family atmosphere it is, so this has been a tremendous loss. We actually conducted a formal meeting of the Board of Supervisors at Camp Taylor, so we're very, very familiar with the organization and the folks that choose to support it. So I wanted you to have that information as we listen to our public comment this morning. We welcome all of your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO Hayes. Chief, go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and board members. I have the privilege of being the Westport Fire Chief, and I've lived in the community for a long time and grew up out there, and I had the privilege to growing up around the fire department. Always knew that intersection was an issue. When all this came to light, we felt the need to come in and just say a few words that we're in full support of maybe having something move forward. And as we started to get feedback that you guys were already working on that in the county, we started getting a lot of support coming to the fire station from the community out there. So more importantly, coming here to you as the fire department representative, coming to you as a representative from the community. We've had a lot of members stop by and heard that this initiative was kind of getting some push to get something changed out there. We obviously see out there running all the emergency scenes, the impact of the commuter traffic in the mornings and in the evenings, and the commerce, what it's brought to us, the traffic out there for the tractor trailers that come through down Grayson Road. So we appreciate this movement to try to improve those service right there at that intersection to create a safer travel route for the public out there. So I just wanted to thank you for the movement that's already been happening with this, and look forward to see what we can kind of come together and get approved out there to improve the safety of that intersection. So appreciate your time today and this morning, and thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next up is Russ Lee.
Ross Lee.
Ross. I'm sorry. I'm always messing up on names. I apologize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've been called worse. Mr. Chairman, Board, CEO Hayes, and Council. My name is Ross Lee. I'm an attorney practicing business law in Modesto. I've served on the Board of Directors of Westport Fire Protection District since 2018. My wife Gina and I live at 4637 Vivian Road, Modesto, which is west of Ceres, a half-mile north of Grayson Road. My family has lived on Vivian Road since 1915. The intersection of Shiloh Road and Grayson Road is about 5 miles west of Vivian Road. During my lifetime, our country roads with pickup trucks and tractors have turned into thoroughfares for commuters. This is especially true for Grayson Road, which is a direct route from the Ceres area to Highway 33 or Interstate 5. Within the past 3 or so years, stop signs were installed at the intersection of Vivian and Grayson Road after numerous accidents there, frequently with drivers passing other cars in the intersection and then learning the car being passed was making a turn onto Vivian Road. I believe that these stop signs have greatly improved the safety of our community. In addition to my law practice, I also raise Holstein dairy cattle. My milk cows are housed at 2 different dairies in West Modesto. Once calves are weaned, I bring them from the dairy to my pasture to raise and breed, and then return them to the dairy when they're ready to calve. In transporting the livestock with my pickup and trailer, I frequently travel Grayson Road and Shiloh Road. My comments today refer to my travels south on Shiloh Road to make a left turn to go east on Grayson Road. There is a curve in Grayson Road to the right, to the west, of the intersection with Shiloh, which has very limited visibility of ongoing traffic coming from the west. If corn is planted in that field, the visibility is even less. After checking multiple times that traffic is clear both ways and making the left turn with my pickup and trailer into the intersection, I frequently find vehicles rapidly approaching from behind to near collision. Vehicles that I could never see to my right. My brother Jeff Lee, who farms almonds, relays to me the same situation happens even more with trucks and a set of double trailers, which are much longer than my pickup and trailer and are often precariously making left-hand turns from Shiloh onto Grayson Road. On behalf of the community, I wish to go on record in favor and strongly encouraging more traffic control at Shiloh Road and Grayson Road. I defer to the traffic experts as to whether stop signs or traffic lights would be the best fit, but conditions have changed over time, and this has become a dangerous intersection. Unless positive actions are taken to slow down and regulate traffic at this intersection, more injuries and fatalities will certainly occur. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Ross. Next up is Lisa Montero Moore.
It's a privilege to be here today representing Congressmember Adam Gray. The individuals who have spearheaded this conversation campaign to improve traffic safety for Camp Taylor, including Lou and his family, really deserve a great deal of credit, and to the family members of Avery and all their friends for spending time here today making Avery's memory known, and the importance of what we're doing for Stanislaus County needs to be recognized. Congressmember Gray is very pleased with Camp Taylor and its ability to be able to come to Stanislaus County, as you well know from his time in the State Assembly. And just from the comments of the support letter he provided to the program, I'll just say that he joins Avery's family, Camp Taylor, and many concerned community members and the Westport Fire Protection District in calling for the consideration of reasonable traffic safety improvements, including making the intersection at Grayson and Shiloh a four-way stop and various signage improvements that will bring improved public safety to this location. As you've stated previously, you're starting to work on this project, so thank you on behalf of the U.S. Congressman, and thank you for working for our county.
Thank you, Lisa. Kimberly Gamino.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Board of Directors. Good morning. My name is Kimberly Gamino. I'm founder and executive director of Camp Taylor. And first, I want to thank you for your continued partnership and the genuine support this board has shown our mission and the families that we serve. Thank you, Jody, for your comments earlier and for the positive steps that have already been made to help move this important item forward. Today, I come before you not as a new voice, but as a long-time community partner who is deeply concerned about the growing danger on Grayson Road, the main artery that runs directly in front of Camp Taylor. Each year, thousands of children, parents, and volunteers and medical professionals travel to our campus to experience the magic of strength that Camp Taylor's love and acceptance builds. Last year alone, nearly 10,000 people entered our gates, and every one of them crossed that artery, Grayson Road, just outside of Camp Taylor's property. Over time, Grayson Road has evolved into a corridor of heavy, fast-moving traffic that places every single visitor, from families and children to staff, volunteers, and first responders, at risk. Entering or exiting our property safely has become increasingly difficult. I don't live at Camp Taylor. Sometimes it feels like I may, but we constantly are trying to cross that road safely. And I appreciate the things that were mentioned, even with corn stalks growing and how that drastically limits visibility, especially during high volume times when multiple vehicles are arriving or leaving at once. Like any disease, it worsens when left untreated, but it can be cured with thoughtful design and decisive action. Each day, families leaving our campus, many with medically fragile children, must dart into traffic or wait dangerously long for an opening to enter onto Grayson Road or to cross to Shiloh Road. Our employees and volunteers face the same daily risks as they arrive early, depart late, and move between our facilities throughout the day. Staff, delivery vehicles, and emergency responders all share the same danger. This is not a matter of inconvenience. It is a matter of public safety and shared responsibility. Earlier this summer, one of our beloved volunteers, as you know, Avery, a young woman who had just completed a week of service at Camp Taylor, lost her life moments after leaving our gates. Her passing was a devastating reminder that the danger on Grayson Road is not abstract. It is immediate and it is preventable. We have provided traffic studies in collaboration with the California Highway Patrol, as you know, letters of support from the fire department and community stakeholders, and testimonies from families who have already experienced loss or danger on this same stretch of road. Our request is specific and urgent: the installation of a four-way stop in front of Camp Taylor. This request is not for special consideration, but for shared prevention. Our proactive measure that reflects our collective commitment to safety and community well-being. We have the data, the community support, and the responsibility to act. Now we seek your leadership to prescribe the cure so that another life is not lost. Camp Taylor was built to save lives. With your continued partnership, we can protect them moving forward, not only within our gates, but on the road that leads to them. The human cost of inaction is too great, and we hope that you can help us act now, and we are grateful, so very grateful, that you have chosen to help us proceed forward in this. Thank you so very much, each and every one of you.
Next up is Sierra Walsh.
Good morning. Thank you for hearing me this morning. I am going to cry. I'm Avery's mom, and I am going to focus on Avery, the human being, because she is a human being. That matters. If you look around this room, there are photos of her everywhere, and I want to tell you a little bit about my daughter. Avery Roxanne Millerick, lovingly known as Meep, was born on April 11th, 2006 in Modesto, and on Saturday, June 21st, 2025, Avery left this world far too soon, tragically losing her life in the same town where her story began. All of us who know her and love her are devastated by this loss. Avery had just completed her freshman year at CSU Northridge, pursuing her dream of earning a degree in cinematic film arts. She aspired to become a television or documentary film producer, driven by a passion for storytelling and a heart full of empathy. She dreamed of creating a documentary focusing on the families of children born with congenital heart disease. She believed deeply in the magic and impact of storytelling through the arts. Our Avery was a dazzling force of personality and purpose. She was a competitive cheerleader, a mentor to siblings of children who were born with heart disease at Camp Taylor. Avery had been coming to Camp Taylor since she was 2 years old. She was an advocate for organ donation and an enthusiastic fan of Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac, Taylor Swift, Harry Styles, Kendrick Lamar, Michael Jackson, Olivia Rodrigo, Frank Ocean, Steely Dan, Phoebe Bridgers, and Beyonce. Avery was the very definition of a musicphile. Avery also fanatically loved the Sacramento Kings, horror movies, Halloween and Christmas, the TV shows Friends and The Office, all things Disney, long naps, Converse and Birkenstock shoes, coffee, sushi, thrifting, political activism, and binging more movies and TV shows than anyone else could ever possibly watch. Her sense of humor was razor sharp, her style was uniquely her own, and her heart was endlessly giving. Avery chose to be an organ donor. This decision was rooted in love and shaped by personal experience, as her brother, Ethan, received a heart transplant in October of 2021. And one of her best friends, Annalise, received her heart transplant in 2012. Through her final act of generosity, Avery continues to touch, and she saved more lives. There's a hole in the world now where Avery once stood, a space that was once filled with laughter, sparkle, sarcasm, and deep compassion is now a void. She was a wonderfully weird, radiant soul who made this world infinitely better and more colorful. Avery lives on in every life she touched, every story shared, in every heartbeat of those who love her, and in every life she helped to save in her passing. Avery has a legacy of service. From a young age, Avery dedicated herself to serving others and strengthening her community. She was a sibling of a child with congenital heart disease. She participated in Camp Taylor's programs as a youth and later returned as a volunteer. She served as a sibling mentor, camp counselor, and an activities assistant. You could always call on Avery, especially if Camp Taylor needed help. She created the same sense of safety, belonging, and hope for other children walking a journey she knew all too well. She also had a love for competitive cheerleading that extended beyond her decade-long participation and commitment to the sport. She volunteered as a junior cheer coach, passing down her skill, passion, and patience to younger athletes who adored her. In her honor, a scholarship has been established at Victoria's Elite All-Stars, ensuring her spirit of encouragement and inclusivity continues to uplift others and provide opportunities for those who might not otherwise have access to the sport she loved. In Stanislaus County, Avery completed hundreds of hours of community service through the International Baccalaureate program. She assisted the elderly, organized free community events for children, helped feed the hungry, chaperoned field trips and events for those with special needs, donated blood, led blood drives, participated in political campaigns, and she worked tirelessly to keep her community safe and welcoming for everyone. Avery was born with a servant's heart. She embodies the very best of humanity through her kindness, leadership, inclusivity, and love for others. Though her life was cut heartbreakingly short, her legacy is immeasurable. At just 19 years old, she had already touched countless lives and left behind a bright light that will never dim. Avery was both our silver shimmer and our golden sunshine. I would always tell her she was my golden hour and she was my love song. As her mother, I'm asking for a call to action. I ask that we I'm almost done.
You can continue.
Thank you. Today, as her mother, I ask for a call to action. I ask that we honor Avery's memory, not just with words, but with action. Let her example remind us that our communities grow stronger when we care for one another. We are better when we give our time and resources to make our communities safer for everyone. Please help us make the intersection in Grayson and Shiloh, outside Camp Taylor, Avery's favorite place in the whole world, safer by installing a stoplight or a four-way stop to prevent any further loss of life. This fatal accident was both senseless and preventable. The day that Avery passed, the corn was high. It had not been harvested and visibility was limited, as you will see in the reports provided. The death of my daughter Avery has broken my heart and shattered my soul. Our family will never recover from this tragedy. We don't want any other mother to spend her Sundays grieving at a roadside memorial, placing fresh flowers where her child took her last breath. Please take action today and help ensure that Avery's light continues to guide others safely home. I appreciate your time, attention, and action in addressing this urgent matter. And I wanted to extend a thank you to Avery's friends, family, loved ones, and the community for showing up and making this happen today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here. Next up is Vanessa Walsh.
Good morning. Thank you for hearing us today. I'm going to be reading 3 letters, one on behalf of Annalise Fisher, one on behalf of Jason DeBow, and one for myself. Before I get into the letters, though, Mr. Hayes, I appreciate the information that you shared this morning in regards to the actions being taken. The tone of these letters, though, were written before this information was shared, and I'm going to read them how they were intended, because it's my hope that you guys take what you learn from this experience and apply it to future situations that are going to come your way. Because as a fierce aunt who loves my niece, my nephew, and my sister, to watch what this has done to them, knowing that letters were sent, whether it was to you guys directly or whatever, process is needed, to know that they were sent ahead of time and nothing was acted, makes me very mad. I will not be rude, I will not yell, but I want you to know, please take this experience and apply it to future situations. Okay. Dear board members, my name is Annalise Fisher, one of Avery's best friends. Avery was the sweetest, kindest person that I know, always helping others. She was a bright star and had so much more life to live. I am writing to request that you take steps to make the intersection of Grayson and Shiloh safer for the community. Unfortunately, nothing has been previously done, so I lost my best friend. I pray this doesn't have to happen to anyone else. Let's prevent another loss. Sincerely, Annalise Fisher. Dear board members, my name is Jason DeBow, and I am the stepfather of the late Avery Roxanne. My daughter, who was taken from us far too early, was the purest form of love, support, and kindness I have ever known, and it pains me to know she will never get to grow up because of simple negligence. As a nurse practitioner and former soldier in the U.S. Army, I am very familiar with risk and risk assessments. If I ignore the risks associated with a particular course of treatment, my patient could get worse, have an adverse reaction, or die. In the Army, this could result in the destruction of equipment, loss of personnel, or even mission failure. As a person charged with the well-being and leadership of others, it is and always has been my duty to ensure that risks are not taken needlessly. The repeated failure to address the risks associated with Grayson Road has resulted in far too many losses, with this one hitting directly in my home. I am not sure if this is a case of the ostrich effect, where one buries their head in the sand and pretends to not see the risk, or just blatant recklessness. Neither of these are acceptable. You are responsible for the death of a young girl. You are responsible for loss to our family. You are responsible for the college graduation she will never get to have, the contributions to society she will never get to make, the grandchildren she will never give us, the good she will never get to continue radiating throughout the world. She was to be the future of our family, this country, and the world, and your hubris has cost us that. We know that at the conclusion of today, you will go home to your families and possibly think little to none about this. We also know that had this been any of your family members, the change would have come swiftly and without question. And we know that you will forget her. We will not, nor will we yield in our efforts to prevent this from happening again. I understand that she means little to you, but you truly have no idea how much she means to us. Sincerely, Jason DeBow. And now my letter. Car accidents occur every day across this country. For some, this has become an accepted part of life, an unavoidable reality. But I ask you to consider this. Can we truly call something an accident when it stems from a failure to address known dangers? When a fatal car crash occurs at an intersection long recognized as hazardous and no corrective action has been taken, we must call it what it is: negligence. Negligence on the part of those entrusted with public safety. The intersection at Grayson Road and Shiloh Road has been the site of multiple accidents. These were not isolated incidents. Concerned citizens have repeatedly submitted reports and voiced alarm to the very organizations responsible for maintaining and improving road safety.
You can continue.
Thank you. And yet, despite these warnings, no substantial changes have been made. There is inadequate signage, no warnings that cross traffic does not stop, no indicators of an upcoming intersection, no signage to alert drivers that children are in the area. The absence of these basic life-saving precautions has now cost a life. Because of this inaction, Avery, a vibrant, compassionate young woman, is no longer with us. Avery was the kind of person who gave freely of her time, her energy, and her heart. She volunteered, she served others, she was kind, she was deeply loved, and had so much more to give to this world. Her loss is devastating. Sorry, one second. Not only to our family, but the entire community that she was part of. Today I speak to you not only as Avery's aunt, who was heartbroken, but as a community member calling for accountability and action. I know you manage an overwhelming number of requests, documents, and responsibilities. But when you accepted this role, you also accepted the moral duty to protect the people who depend on you. That duty does not get to disappear under piles of paperwork. As the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. This neglected intersection is your responsibility. What happened to Avery is your responsibility. This neglected I stand here holding her picture because I need you to see her. Not as a name on a report, not as another tragic statistic, but as a person. A daughter, a sister, a niece, a cousin, a life full of promise that was taken far too soon. I'm on my last paragraph, and I promise it's a short one. I ask you now to search your heart and answer one question honestly. If this were your loved one, what would you do? How would you have handled it? Strip away your title for a moment. Step outside of your position. If it were your child, your niece, your sister, Mr. Bose, what would you do? When you found your answer, I urge you, act on it. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Make the necessary changes. Prevent this from happening to another family, to another child, to another community that will never recover from the loss. Taking action now will never bring her back, but we can honor Avery by ensuring her death was not in vain. Let it be the catalyst for the action that should have come long ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Next one is Julianne Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Julianne Phillips. Thank you for the time this morning to introduce myself as the new district representative for Senator Marie Alvarado Gill. I'll be covering Stanislaus County, part of the West Side, and focusing on issues of agriculture, natural resources, business, and local government. And even though the legislature is in recess right now, the senator is still engaged legislatively and has been urging her colleagues in the Senate that unanimously voted in favor of AB 1309, which would have provided parity in pay to employees of CAL FIRE comparable to similarly situated employees in cities and counties throughout the state to override the governor's veto of AB 1309. In her recent press release, the senator stated, "Firefighters deserve better, and so do Californians. I urge my colleagues in the Assembly and Senate to override this disgraceful veto and honor our brave men and women on the front lines with pay that matches their commitment to protecting California families." As you know, wildfire and wildfire protection is a significant issue within the district. And throughout the recess, our office has also been very busy. The senator has been in the district. We hosted a meet and greet last week in Hilmar, and we will be hosting mobile office hours in Patterson and Turlock this month. So I just wanted to introduce myself, and if you have any questions or any of my contact information, I look forward to working with you, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for being here. All right, next up is Rhonda Allen.
Good morning, Supervisors, Chairman. It's been a lot to take in this morning. My name is Rhonda Allen, and I'm a resident of Modesto. It's good to see you again. I'm here to acknowledge the work and improvements being made to Tuolumne River Regional Park. I've been participating in the TRIP Advisory Committee meetings where discussions are held about the vision for this river park. There's a great vision being undertaken by a master plan for our Tuolumne River Park to create a space for the community to gather, and it provides access to the beautiful river. Through the work of our city Parks and Recreation, who've been involved in all the planning, a new playground, picnic area, and learning pavilion have been installed. They're all very nice. A river walk is planned for this year, and a river overlook is being developed, all of which will provide more accessibility and enjoyment of this river setting. It's exciting to imagine the possibilities for a community space along the river under the canopy of these majestic oak woodlands that we have that have existed there for a couple hundred years. I doubt that very many of our Modesto residents even know that we are a river city. Because the river has been underutilized and really underappreciated, even though it is one of Modesto's greatest treasures. It is even part of our city motto, water. The community will benefit from these new features at the park and make it a more desirable place to recreate. This is an effort that should be applauded because the Tuolumne River Regional Park is a unique environment where residents can interact with nature and develop an appreciation for the valuable riparian habitat that supports our entire region, and it needs protection. The largest stand of valley oak trees along the entire Tuolumne River exists here, just by our downtown. These trees need protection and also understanding. They host more wildlife species than any other tree in our valley and have a great shade canopy for residents to enjoy as well as the wildlife. These trees also benefit the river itself, the system of the river. There are very few parks in our area that have such an enjoyable space to recreate surrounded by nature. However, I have not seen any new effort to provide increased maintenance and security in the park to ensure that families are comfortable and safe in these spaces. There are only 2 park staff to help maintain this park. They dump the trash and do minimal tasks, monitor problems, but they only have time to do a few things because they are also assigned to 3 more parks to maintain. This is not sufficient staffing. The park has improved in its cleanliness and its atmosphere, but without additional maintenance and staffing, I am concerned that this park will not be able to maintain a healthy environment. Another concern is the lack of restrooms near the new learning pavilion. This is a place where we should desire groups to gather, but it is a very long walk to the nearest restroom. I hope you will consider at least installing portable restrooms in this location so that families and visitors can enjoy the park without concern. Since the county has a joint responsibility with the city for this regional park, I would like to see more support from our county to provide these needed features. The city has 77 parks to maintain. It's a lot, with only a handful of staff to do it, which is where you need to come in and help. If you have not visited the park lately, I would encourage you to take a walk there and examine how the funds have been spent and what we can do to continue to improve its use. I believe the Tuolumne River Regional Park could be a remarkable place to recreate for our community and also a valuable amenity for our county's promotion as a river city. Please help me protect these magnificent oak trees as well by putting in place an oak ordinance for future generations to enjoy them. These trees can live to be 600 years old. They are endemic to our valley and are disappearing as many of our natural spaces are being diminished. Their canopy and roots actually protect our river system, and they keep the riparian ecosystem from unraveling. They are greatly needed. I hope to see more effort from the joint powers controlling the park with funding, staffing, and some serious environmental conservation efforts. Thank you for supporting the Tuolumne Regional Park and its habitat. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you for being here. That was my last public comment card. Anyone else like to make a public comment about items not on the agenda? Come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Ron McMurtry here. Yeah, it is tragic that a young woman lost her life. The situation that I think I have to agree has been neglected, and maybe the premature development of Camp Taylor is also partially complicit. But I'm not going to state the obvious. There's something that maybe you don't know. When you guys had your special session at Camp Taylor, Mr. Morrow and I were talking about, well, how do people get out there? And then there was a later presentation about how there's a program for young people, and I couldn't help think, shouldn't these young people be able to get out there? You can't always arrange transportation. So I want to advise you that after you guys had that meeting, that I did talk to Stan RTA, and I said we should have a stop at Camp Taylor. And it's as informal, of course, but one of the staff members did tell me that that's a good idea. But surveying that area, it's the shoulder kind of slides down. There's no safe way to put stop. And so as far as planning purposes, if we're going to put a four-way stop, we do need also a crosswalk. And I don't know how the coordination will work with making sure we can develop bus stops at that place on Grayson. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. Any others like to make public comment? Seeing none, I'm going to close public comment. Move to the
Mr. Chair, may I just have a minute to comment?
Absolutely, go ahead.
This did occur in my district, and so obviously I take it very personal. I want to thank the family, especially for your bravery and courage for showing up today and voicing your opinion, your advocacy, and trying to enact change. So I do want to take that moment. You're very brave, and as a father myself to 3 young children, I can't imagine the grief that you go through and the trauma that you've experienced in the loss of a child. Parents aren't meant to bury their children. So I pray for you, and my heart goes out to each and every day moving forward. I certainly do mean that sincerely. But I travel Grayson Road quite frequently, being a West Sider myself. I know the dangers and perils of driving that road. There's quite significant infrastructure improvements that need to be made in making that thoroughfare safer. And I know that our Public Works Department and Mr. Lehman at the helm has been very committed to that and to traffic safety. It is a process, unfortunately. That's just the nature of bureaucracy and government, and that certainly isn't an excuse. But this has been in the works for quite some time, and I know my office has been in communication with Mr. Lehman and Public Works for several weeks and several months now in trying to get this addressed. I mean, there's other areas within Grayson Road that also are in need. Obviously, the Laird Street, Cox Road intersection on Grayson Road. We had some victories in the past, working with Public Works and Mr. Lehman and installing the four-way stop at Vivian Road, which was a good improvement. And it's unfortunate that tragedies like this do occur in order to spur change. And not knowing Avery, but hearing her testimony about her today, she was a bright young woman. She had just as bright of a future, and she will be sincerely missed. And she certainly, in her short time though, left her mark, a mark greater than most. And we should all find solace in knowing that maybe her legacy will save a future life. And I would ask that when the stop signs are installed, because you have my commitment, and I don't want to speak for my colleagues, but I'm going to, they will be installed, that we place maybe a memorial marker at the stop sign to honor her and her memory. So I do would like to see that request made. I don't know the possibilities of doing that, Mr. Lehman, but I do think that we can have a placard or a marker on the stop sign in Avery's honor. So thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Chance. All right. Sorry, we're moving on to the consent calendar. Any supervisors like to pull anything from consent?
I like to pull A7.
A7. And before the board takes action on the consent calendar, does anyone in the audience wish to provide public comment on any matter on the consent calendar? Seeing none, I'll bring it back for a motion, everything except for A7.
Motion to approve.
I have a first.
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay, A7.
I just want to take a minute to recognize an incredible individual from my district who has served on the Keys Municipal Advisory Council as well as other boards, Mr. Morrow. I know that you're stepping off the Keys MAC. You will be sincerely missed. You'll have some big shoes to fill. It'll be tough to find your replacement, but I do want to recognize you, obviously, for always showing up in your attendance and your engagement, your civic engagement, your duty to making our county a better place. So thank you for your service.
Right. Okay, any public comment on A7? All right, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
Move to approve.
I have a first.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay, we are going to recess the Board of Supervisors meeting to set as the In-Home Supportive Service Public Authority of Stanislaus County. We are going to take a quick 5-minute break. Okay, we are back from break, and we are sitting as in the Home Supportive Services Public Authority. We're going to call to order, and we have discussion items, approval of the minutes of February 27, 2024. Christine Hoover.
Good morning, Christine Huber. I'm the Executive Director of the Public Authority for Stanislaus County. I'm here today to submit approval of the minutes from the February 27th, 2024 meeting. As you know, when you met last week, you had minutes to approve, and there was an oversight on our part. We usually, the board usually convenes at the Public Authority during times of approving the MOU, and we had lost track that there was another meeting in 2024, and so it was an oversight on our part. So today we're bringing you the February 27th, 2024 minutes for approval. And just also want to let you know that we put steps in place so that we would not miss a meeting in the future, and bring you the correct minutes to approve.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Christine? No? All right. Any public comment? All right, bring it back to the board for motion.
Motion approved.
I have a first.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. All right, time for public comment. Any other public comment about items not on the agenda for the In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority? Seeing none, I'm going to close public comment, and we are going to adjourn the In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority of Stanislaus County and reconvene to sit in as the Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors. Moving to public hearings, or correction, moving to discussion items, approval to adopt plans and specifications for the Crows Landing Industrial Business Park Phase 2022 and 2024 well improvements, Phase 1A water facility and offsite water project. Award the construction agreement to Mozingo. Did I say that right? Construction? Mozingo Construction Incorporated, and approve a professional construction management service agreement with Brown and Caldwell Public Works, David Lehman, Erica Ignacio.
Erica's freezing. You're freezing, aren't you? It's freezing in here.
Oh, I need a blanket. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman Condit, Board Members, CEO Hayes, and County Council Bose. Erica Ignacio with the Chief Executive Office. Along with me is David Lehman, and today we are going to be providing a presentation that gives you an update on the Crows Landing Industrial Business Park, the landing. We'll cover the project's background, current progress, fiscal outlook, and next steps with the focus on Phase 1 water infrastructure. The landing was originally a NASA airfield. In 2004, 1,352 acres were transferred to the county, with the remaining 176 acres pending. The development is designed to be built in 3 phases over 30 to 40 years, but the long-term vision is to create a regional hub for innovation, jobs, and multi-modal infrastructure. It is expected to house more than 14 million square feet of industrial space, 370-acre airport, and more than 14,000 jobs. Planning for this transformation has been thoughtful and deliberate. Final environmental impact report was certified in October of 2018, and the specific plan was approved by the board in December of 2018. The board declared 1,352 acres of the 1,528 acres at the site as surplus in November of 2022. In December, we sent out notice of availability to all parties, and we did not receive any responses. The Department of Housing and Community Development reviewed the county's work and confirmed that the process had been followed. By doing so, now the county can lease or sell the landing. A little bit on the fiscal overview component of it. Today, nearly $15 million has been invested in advancing project planning and implementation efforts, which includes California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, studies, airport consulting, Phase 1A design and engineering, well improvements, security, general staff support, and consultant services such as the development of enhanced infrastructure financing district and marketing. Funding has come from a mix of sources, including ARPA and general fund reserves. 4.9 million has been in temporary uses, 1.2 in ARPA has been used, and 8.7 in general funds. This blend of local, state, and federal funding demonstrates the commitment to investing in the future of a thriving business park. In 2020, the board approved a resolution to establish an enhanced infrastructure financing district to help finance the infrastructure through future tax revenue. It also appointed a 5-member public financing authority. The EIFD is a special district that can capture the growth in property tax revenues to finance public projects, similar to old redevelopment agencies but with more oversight. The purpose of an EIFD is to support the long-term community and economic development by funding infrastructure improvements and revitalization projects that are difficult to finance through regular budgets. Now I'll go ahead and pass it over to Dave, who will cover some of the infrastructure progress.
Good morning. So you see on here, there's a phasing plan. This is the water improvements we're doing. We'll cover all of 1A and most of 1B. Phase 1A is south of the Delta Mendota Canal. Phase 1B is between the Delta Mendota Canal and south of the airport. We've drilled 2 wells in 2022 and 2024. One's ours, one belongs to the Crows Community Services District. We've issued a RFP for construction management, and we released a bid for construction. And here's the plans. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see the big round thing. That's our 1.6 million gallon tank. Our water control or treatment and pumps are the building to the right of that. And then the one on the right is the well site next to the existing well. And phase 1A improvements consists of that 1.6 million gallon tank, booster pumps, pressure reducing valves, control station at the water plant, and the topside well improvements, like I said, the 2022 well, this county owned, the 2024 well, this Crows Landing Community Services District owned, that's our project backup well, and then 1 3/4 miles of 12-inch pipes between the wells and the project, 1 pipe for raw water, 1 pipe for treated water. The construction management RFP was posted last summer. The proposal we received was from Brown Caldwell. The evaluation criteria was based on experience, innovation, and financials. The negotiated fee is about 10% of the construction cost, $2.5 million. Board approval required per policy. Brown Caldwell have been awarded a small contract for constructability reviews, which they've already completed and helped us get out a good set of plans. And this will be recommended to be awarded with a construction contract. And the infrastructure status. Engineer's estimate before we went out to bid was $20 million. On July 10th, we received the bids, and in August, we reviewed the bids. And Mazinga was the apparent low bidder, and it was a regular bid for $23.59 million. Construction should start in November with a fall 2027 completion, and want to make sure you guys know that the annual O&M cost once we get this plant up and running is about $300,000 a year. We've got to run it whether it's serving anyone or not, so can't let pumps sit. And here's the timeline. Been working on this for a long time, and we're here at phase 1A in the water facility. Water mains, like I said, under Fink Road to connect the Crows Landing Industrial Business Park to the community wells. We got that new well facility near Benito and 4th, adjacent to or close to the existing Crows Landing Community Services District well. And this includes storage, pumping, treatment, and transmission. This phase includes critical water infrastructure to support both the business park and the local community, and ensures safe, reliable, and sustainable water access. Fiscal impact. The total project cost is $28.5 million. The county is increasing revenue and appropriations to support this phase. Even with full contingency use, the projected deficit is $1.1 million, which staff believes can be managed within existing resources. Public Works recommends increasing estimated revenue by $218,000 and appropriations by $5.8 million in the county operations Crows Landing Industrial Business Project budget unit. This increase to estimated revenues will be the final funding allocation, funded in part by an allocation totaling $12 million from operating transfers out within the ARPA budget unit. The total increase in appropriations by $5.8 million is for the expenses related to the construction of the Crow's Landing Industrial Business Park, or the landing. All remaining appropriations for this project have been appropriated in the 2026 budget. Here's the overall budget. This was the total budget back in 2023. We thought at one point it was about a $40 million project. The topside well improvements and the water plant wound up, instead of costing $14 million, wound up costing $23.5. We don't have enough money for the on-site grading, nor the wastewater facilities, nor the landscaping. And so the project, as recommended, is the water system. And here's the contacts, construction project lead. It says it's me, David Lehman. We got our senior civil, Gary Moeller, working on this one with Brown and Caldwell. It's a good team. Development project lead is Erica, and our supporting and partner agencies are Public Works, that's me, or us, Planning, General Services Agency, Chief Executive Office, DER, NASA, and the Department of Toxic Substance Control. Next steps, we're going to initiate construction, continue the NASA transfer parcels, renew master developer process, and alternative development options, which could include a casino hospital project. Staff recommendations: approve the plans and specs, award a construction contract to Mazingo Construction, authorize the Director of Public Works to execute a contract with Mazingo for this project in the amount of $23,590,000 as recommended by the GSA Director, authorize the Director of Public Works to execute change orders, approve a professional construction management services agreement with Brown and Caldwell for this project, authorize the General Services Agency purchasing manager and agent to execute a professional construction management services agreement with Brown and Caldwell for a not to exceed amount of $2.5 million. Direct the auditor controller to increase the estimated revenue by $214,000 and appropriations by $5.8 million in the county operations budget. Or authorize the Public Works Director to take any appropriate action necessary to carry out the purpose and intent of these recommendations. And staff is available for questions.
Any questions for the team?
I just know that the faster we do things, the less they cost.
Yes.
That is correct.
All right. I'm going to open it up to public comment. Any public comment? Come on up.
Mr. Chairman, this is just a self-education thing. I think I understand what's going on here. First, let me get my geography straight. Is this the Crow's Landing community between Patterson and Newman? Is this the area we're talking about? Okay. My other question is, I assume that one of the your due diligence has to be a traffic report. If there's going to be I don't know what kind of business park this is going to be, but I assume there's going to be business traffic. Did you have to do a traffic assessment report?
Absolutely.
So
if you would just go ahead with all your questions. And
that's
at
it.
the end, and then.
No, can you just give me a rough idea then of what the traffic impact you expect to have once it's all up and running? Or do you know that off the top of your head?
I think I would direct you, Stephen, to go to the website and review inside the EIR. There's a whole section on traffic. It's phased. There are future improvements, but with phase 1A, there's not a lot of traffic improvements necessary because we're not going to be generating that much traffic. But future phases have significant mitigations in the future.
Okay, thank you. And my name's Ron.
Sorry, Ron. That's right. Stephen Morrow's the other guy. Sorry.
All right. Any other public comment? Seeing none, I'm going to bring it back to the board for either more comments or motion.
Okay, just a couple comments here.
Yeah, go ahead.
On this, and we talked about this a little bit in our briefings here. So I'm kind of getting nervous about this thing. You know, this has been going on, I guess, in the 15 years I've been here, and more than that, 16, 17 years probably in total since this thing started. And we continue to invest. It's kind of always been a plan that, you know, if we build it, they will come. Kind of like Field of Dreams, right? If we build it, they will come. They haven't come. And so we continue to invest funds in this. We've invested whatever, I'm trying to do the math. We've allocated 42 million. Tell me if I got the math right. We've spent about 15 million so far in funds in this airbase that could have been spent somewhere else. And it's just, I just think of the return on our investment. What's the return we've gotten on our 15 million so far? You know, nothing, I would say at this point. And then where's this gonna go? And so I just become more and more nervous about that we're gonna somewhere end up down the road. I always look at it, and I've said this 100,000 times probably, if this is viable, the private sector will jump up. Just any of these projects, you know, when we talk about BEAM, things like that, stuff's going on with the bioindustrial manufacturing. If it's a viable venture, the private sector will step in and get involved in it. And government can't continue to prop it up. And so now I'm starting to get nervous is where it is. I'm starting to think we continue to put money towards this thing that could be going throughout our community. We could be getting a return on the investment in other areas, and it just hasn't happened yet. So I'm just venting here, guys, sorry.
Okay.
And just letting you know my inner feelings here is I'm starting to be very concerned that we might have a red herring here, and that this is gonna, we're gonna continue to try to prop this thing up with government money and think that it's eventually gonna develop. I hope I'm dead wrong, I hope it does. And I've been hoping that for a long time. Like I said, at least as long as I've been here, the 15 years. And so I know we're all starting to get I don't want to speak for everybody else, but starting to get a little nervous about this investment. And I just can't, for the life of me, understand why nobody has stepped up from the private sector and said, yeah, this is a great project, we want to get involved. You guys finish this and then we're there. We've had multiple people come and go, look at it and leave. And we always have, there's always somebody on next one on the line. I'm always hearing, oh, we've got somebody now that might be gonna, we think we have somebody interested, and it just hasn't happened. So all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and support this for now, and I'm going to do like Jim DiMartini used to say. I'm going to plug my nose on this one and support it one more time in hope that that something. Unfortunately, we're going to be into this. We'll be totally in. We'll be $42 million into this by the time this is all done. And I just hope that there is some sort of, of course, the jobs that are going to come out of this, everything that's going to come out of there. I hope that happens. And I just think we all need to start really looking here and making sure, that somebody's going to get involved in this, and it's just not going to be another government thing. I know I talked to Manny really quick about it, that sometimes everybody will come when certain things have happened. I look to him as our real estate guy, our finance guy for that kind of stuff, and development guy. And so so that's what I'm going to go on, that maybe this last additional 27 million will then bring those people who are sitting on the sidelines right now waiting for this thing to happen. If not, I think we need to really seriously look at this again and try to decide what our exit strategy is out of this, and how do we recover some of these costs if it's not going to be through the development of this thing and all the jobs we hope to come out of it. So I just think that's a question we're going to have to talk about, and so hopefully this will be it, and things will start to happen out there. But if they don't, we need to figure out where we're going to go from here. And I tell Jody this all the time. I'm going to say it again. Some of my most successful clients are the ones who are able to cut their ties and run on an investment that they've made that they can see isn't going to work. And at some point, you got to make that decision. I hope this isn't one of them. I hope this isn't going to go that direction. But I think we have to seriously start to think about this if this doesn't seem to take off here soon for us. So, okay, I will support it. And I've had my say, and then I hope I'm dead wrong.
I just want a point of clarification. Beam Circular hasn't chosen this as a site. I know that was referenced.
No, sorry. Sorry, Chance. I was just talking about bioindustrial manufacturing.
I know, but that's it has been floated as a possible site.
Yeah,
I know it has. So.
Yeah, I was just.
But I obviously, my vision for the air base has been a little contrary and outside the box to past visions. It's obviously has become public as of recent. in the local newspapers. And, Supervisor Withrow, I hope that you keep an open mind if we're able to get something on the hook of something that is a little creative and outside the box and not of the norm moving forward. And as those conversations continue to progress with the tribal nation that I'm working with, as well as the health provider, I do hope that the board consider long-term what that airbase could be as an economic engine for Stanislaus County.
Okay, I think if that's the conclusion of our board comments, I would like to just make a few comments before you're asked for a motion. First, I want to recognize and appreciate that there have been many conversations around the future development of this asset in our community and what it could bring for future generations. There are many staff members as well as board members that have poured a lot of work into further developing that vision that was able to get us to this point where we're at today, where we're actually going to go break ground and start building some infrastructure at this facility. I also want to acknowledge that I've had several conversations with Supervisor Withrow about the concerns that he shared this morning, and they're definitely valid. Our project team felt that this investment was worthy, or it wouldn't be before you today, and that it would potentially be what unlocks the additional development interest that we would traditionally, we're looking for a master developer to come in for the property. We've kind of had fits and starts in that process, some of those very publicly, some of those not so publicly, but I can assure you that with this investment, we're actually teeing ourselves up with the water infrastructure so that there will be an ongoing cost to maintaining the facility a couple of years out from now. And we have additional financial pressure to locate that master developer. So you'll see us doubling down on our efforts to go back out to see what the development community is interested in doing with this project. And also, I've shared with Supervisor Withrow, and I'll share with everyone else as well. If we're unsuccessful in that process for any reason, we will absolutely be looking at a Plan B, what it looks like in terms of what is the value of land there, and how can the county recoup its interest, what would be the best recommendations before the board. And last thing I want to acknowledge is, I know that there are other visions that have come forward, and Supervisor Condit just briefly mentioned that I think what you characterized as out-of-the-box thinking about the airbase. There's a lot of land out there. And there's a lot of opportunity for different types of vision. It just depends on whether or not they fit within the existing EIR and specific plan that was put forward, or if additional environmental work would need to be conducted in order to accommodate some kind of program development that was not already contemplated. So I just want to be clear that moving this action forward does not take anything off the table about what could happen at that location. And with that, I would just like to share my appreciation for everyone who's worked very, very hard on this project. And we're excited to begin this next chapter.
All right, any other comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a first. I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. All right, moving on to discussion item number 2, approval to consider and adopt a resolution of necessity to acquire real property or interest in real property by eminent domain for the Kilburn Road Bridge over Orstemba Creek project, parcel owners Maring, assessors parcel 049-012-001, Public Works David.
Good morning again.
Hold on a second. So I'm going to have to step down on this one. Zach Murray is my nephew, and I am his godfather. And just out of the abundance of caution, I will step away so it doesn't look like there's any type of impropriety here.
The nephew of mine, Terry's the nephew of mine.
Go ahead, Dave.
Good morning again. With me is Arten Shaverdian from Nossaman. He's our outside counsel on most things right away, and on this project also. So we're here to discuss the Kilburn Road Bridge over Orstemba Creek, resolution of necessity for Zach and Audrey Maring, APN 049-012-001. And on the agenda for this run is the project location and description, an overview of the process, and discussion of the individual properties, Zach and Audrey Maring at 22001 Kilburn Road in Crow's Landing, and APN 049012001. And the project location is for the Kilburn Road Bridge replacement. It's about a half-mile southeast of Crow's Landing Road. Project goals: replace an existing structural deficient bridge, meet current design standards, provide hydraulic clearance over the 50-year water surface elevation for Stimba Creek, and accommodate regional transportation needs, including permit loads. And here's the project limits. The Marings are on the south side, and we need about 1,600 feet of permanent road easement, about 3,000 square feet of permanent maintenance easement, and about 1,700 square feet of temporary construction easement. And the project approvals to date, we approved the CEQA on January 25th, 2022. Caltrans approved the NEPA CE environmental documents and routed adoption on April 7th, 2023. Caltrans approved the NEPA revalidation on August 17th, 2023. These actions confirmed the recommended bridge replacement. Public interest and necessity project approvals to date for the Marings Kilburn Road Bridge replacement project will improve the regional network circulation, replace a structurally deficient bridge, increase load capacity, increase permit rating, widen the existing lanes to current standards. There's currently stop signs on both ends of the bridge. This bridge is weight restricted and rather fragile. It's a concrete covered pony truss bridge. They don't make them like this anymore for good reason. Support efficient movement of goods and services and enhance traffic safety. The greatest public good and least private injury. Through rigorous environmental study and public outreach, the replacement bridge has been designed to maximize the benefits to the public at large while minimizing impacts to private property owners. A thorough analysis regarding the need for each property interest was conducted in the project's planning stages. The project team has worked diligently to minimize the need for property acquisitions. The replacement bridge is planned and located in the manner that is most compatible with providing the greatest public good and least private injury. The key resolution necessity findings required for the Marings. Public interest and necessity require the Kilburn Road Bridge over Stimba Creek. The final EIR approved on January 25th, 2022. Project is planned in the manner that will be most compatible with the greatest public good and the least private injury. The acquisitions from subject property is necessary for the project. Offer has been made to the parcel owners to be required. Key resolution of necessity findings. Notice of the hearing for this resolution of necessity has been properly given as required by and according to the provisions of section 1245.235 of the California Code of Civil Procedure. And a meeting has been held at which all persons whose property may be acquired by eminent domain and whose name and address appear on the last equalized county assessment roll have been given a reasonable opportunity to appear and be heard by the Board of Supervisors on the matter set forth in the Civil Code of Civil Procedures sections 1240.030 and 1240.510. Staff recommends find that the public interest and necessity require the replacement of the structurally deficient Kilburn Road Bridge over the Stimba Creek. Find that the projects planned are located in the manner that will be most compatible with the greatest public good and the least private injury. Find that the acquisitions of permanent and temporary easements from the project subject property APN 049-012-001, 22001 Kilburn Road, described in the resolutions attached to the staff report, are necessary for the project. Find that the offer required by section 7267.2 of the Government Code has been made to the parcel owners of the properties to be acquired. Adopt a resolution of necessity in the form attached to the staff report as attachment 1. Authorize County Council to initiate eminent domain proceedings to acquire the permanent and temporary easements from the subject property. And staff is available for questions.
Any questions for the team?
Can I ask, the NEPA document was done in '23. Have we been negotiating, or how long have we been negotiating to acquire the land?
We've been since then, so 2+ years.
The first offer was made in April of 2024, so it's been in negotiations for well over a year at this point.
And on the Marings property, because I know the other one, I don't see any trees. Were trees removed, production trees? Or is it, because it looks like it's probably.
I don't believe so.
The take area does not involve any improvements or trees. It's just raw land right now.
Okay.
And that's based on the appraisal report that was done in the inspection back in April of 2024.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Any other questions? All right, I'm going to open up public comment. Anyone have public comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, I'm going to bring it back to the board.
So one comment, because I think it's one of the powers of the board is eminent domain, and it's one of the more difficult things to do generally. This one seems a little different for me because it seems pretty innocuous in comparison to ones we've done on 132 and what we're going to do North County Corridor and some of the other ones. I hope we get to a resolution with the two folks. I know we'll get to a resolution at some point, but again, this has been ongoing for quite some time, and so I will go ahead. If there's no other comments, I will make a motion. Let's see, I have to look at I've got so many papers around here. The 6 findings, 6 staff recommendations.
Okay, I have a motion with a first.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Or, excuse me.
Thank you.
Would that be for? Okay, unanimous. I want to get caught up. All right, number 3, approval to consider and adopt a resolution of necessity to acquire real property or interest in real property by eminent domain for the Kilburn Road Bridge over Forest Timber Creek. Parcel owners DePaul, assesses parcel number 049-011-009. Public Works, David Lehman.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, with me is Artin Shaverdian from Nossman, outside counsel. And this is the R&S DePaul Trust. We'll discuss the project location and description, overview of the process, discussion of the individual property, R&S DePaul Trust at 22006 Kilburn Road in Crow's Landing, APN 049-000-011-009. The project location again is half a mile southeast of Crow's Landing Road. Project goals: replace existing structurally deficient bridge, meet current design standards, provide hydraulic clearance over the 50-year water surface elevation, and accommodate regional transportation needs, including permit loads. Something I think I'll point out for this one that I didn't last time is when the San Joaquin River's got about the 10-year flow on it, River Road's closed. And this is a great detour route for River Road being closed. Most of the traffic wants to be on River Road, but when there's a foot of water over the road, it's hard to use. Project limits for R&S DePaul Trust. Again, I think we would staff would characterize these as sliver takes, quote unquote. Permanent road easement, 2607 square feet. Permanent maintenance easement, approximately 1,500. Permanent utility easement, 1,332 square feet. And temporary construction easement of 1,939 square feet. Project approvals to date for R&S DePaul Trust. Stanislaus County approved the CEQA on January 25th, 2022. Caltrans approved the NEPA CE environmental documents and routed adoption on April 7th, 2023. Caltrans approved NEPA CE revalidation on August 17th, 2023. These actions confirmed the recommended bridge replacement. Public interest and necessity project approvals to date. The Kilburn Road Bridge Replacement Project will improve the regional network circulation, replace the structurally deficient bridge, increase load capacity, increase permit rating, widen existing lanes to current standards, support efficient movement of goods and services, enhance traffic safety. Greatest public good and least private injury. Through rigorous environmental study and public outreach, the replacement bridge has been designed to maximize the benefits of the public at large while minimizing impacts to private property owners. A thorough analysis regarding the need for each property interest was conducted in the project's planning stages. The project team has worked diligently to minimize the need for property acquisitions. The replacement bridge is planned and located in the manner that is most compatible with providing the greatest public good and least private injury. Key resolution of necessity findings required. Public interest and necessity require the Kilburn Road Bridge over Orris-Dimba Creek final EIR approved on January 25th, 2022. Project is planned in the manner that will be most compatible with the greatest public good and the least private injury. The acquisitions from the subject property is necessary for the project. Offer has been made to the parcel owners to be acquired. Key resolution of necessity findings required. Notice of the hearing for this resolution of necessity has been properly given as required by and according to the provisions of section 1245.235 of California Code of Civil Procedure, and a meeting has been held at which all persons whose property may be acquired by eminent domain and whose name and address appear on the last equalized county assessment roll have been given a reasonable opportunity to appear and be heard by the Board of Supervisors on the matters set forth in the Code of Civil Procedures, sections 1240-030 and 1240-510. Staff recommends, find that the public interest and necessity require the replacement of the structurally deficient Kilburn Road Bridge over Orstimmer Creek. Find that the project is planned or located in the manner that will be most compatible with the greatest public good and the least private injury. Find that the acquisitions of permanent and temporary easements from the subject property APN 049-0011009-22006 Kilburn Road, described in the resolutions attached to the staff report, are necessary for the project. Find that the offer required by section 7267.2 of the Government Code has been made to the parcel owners of the properties to be acquired. Adopt a resolution of necessity in the form attached to the staff report as attachment 1. Authorize County Council to initiate eminent domain proceedings to acquire the permanent and temporary easements from the subject property. And staff is available for questions. I think the reason why I said 3 years, Vito, is staff's been working on this since, we've been working on this for 15 years. This is a long time coming.
So I do have another question on, did either one of them utilize their ability to get a paid appraisal?
Not that I'm aware of, they have not. They've engaged in over 24 communications with the right-of-way agents, but it's all been just unsuccessful, and there hasn't been really a discussion about the compensation amount. They're just opposed to, the property owners are just opposed to the taking, period.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, open it up, public comment on this agenda item. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
So my comments on the first one stand here. This is a sliver take. Again, with great power comes great responsibility. We have to use it very judiciously. I think you met on both of the parcels all of the objectives of least harm with good. It is a alternative route that is important, and so with that, I'll support all 6 staff recommendations.
I have a first. Second. I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to correspondence. I'm going to acknowledge the receipt of correspondence and refer as recommended on the agenda. Board of Supervisor reports.
Purvis.
Chance, do you have?
Yeah, just a short report. I know we're doing a groundbreaking ceremony for our ARPA funds out in Park Lawn at the Park Lawn Park on Thursday at 9:30 a.m. I know our Public Works team's going to be out there. A lot of our community members are going to be out there, so it's a great day for celebration on Thursday. And thank you for everybody's hard work in making this happen. And
Any others? Last Friday, they had the honor of representing the board at the drug court and mental health court graduation. We had one each from each group, and it was an honor to be there and recognize their success. Go ahead, Jody.
Okay, so I'm going to do the fiscal legislative management update, and we're going to take a little more time this morning because there is a lot happening at the state and federal level. First, I want to acknowledge at the state level that this is that time when the governor has been signing or vetoing bills that are getting a lot of attention. A couple that I want to bring to your attention. Our first SB 707 was signed by the governor. This is the Brown Act Modernization Act. It's what it's referred to as. It does expand opportunities for public engagement and updates to open meeting rules. That includes teleconferencing, agenda translations, and even disruption protocols for board meetings. So most of this is effective July of next year, and you can expect that it will definitely make our board meetings look and act differently starting then. So we're focused on that. It's going to take a significant effort for us to enact all of the requirements of this, and obviously working closely with council. Also want to recognize that the governor has signed AB 339 that does require local public agencies to provide additional notifications up to 60 days in writing to employee represented organizations prior to contracting for services that may be within the scope of labor's work. So this will definitely have an impact in terms of any additional contracts that we have coming before the board that could be interpreted as having representation rights, as well as slows down the process there a little bit. So we'll have to update our procedures there and welcome the discussion with our labor partners. What we want to focus on this morning, though, is the federal government shutdown. And last week we asked all county departments to ensure that they took time to read all of the documentation from the respective federal agencies that they work with to determine what are the current or potential impacts that would occur with the federal government shutdown. Very pleased that every single county department participated in that process and confirmed what they think their current analysis is, as well as whether or not, in some cases, that there were no current impacts. We've invited many of our county department heads to join us this morning so that they could share with you from their perspective what they're hearing and their interpretation of what's happening at the federal level as well. So I'm going to invite them up. And in terms, I think I just need to acknowledge that overall, one of the themes that we did receive from the county departments was, even for those departments that may not have a direct impact, if they're working in a program that is federally funded, certainly some of those that get attention, such as aging and veteran services and so forth, there are definitely many more phone calls that are coming in to our county system. So we're getting lots of calls from the public wanting to confirm their benefit eligibility. And the other issue that you may run into that may not be specific to any department that comes up and speaks this morning is that we do have, there's a lot of cash flow considerations. So even if the programs are still approved and they're ready to move forward, when funding will be provided to support certain subcontractors for the county will become an issue here pretty soon. So that was a universal theme, increase in phone calls as well as strains in cash flow potential that will only get worse or exacerbate as this shutdown continues. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and start by asking some of our county departments to come up and meet. I think we'll go ahead and start with our team from behavioral health. I see we got a few folks in the audience, so it looks like Carrie, you're coming up, as well as Karen. Okay, you get a twofer here. Ruben was unable to be with us this morning, so looks like he's got the team here. So it's all yours.
Thank you. Good morning. So I'm Carrie McGee, and I'm the Associate Director for Behavioral Health and Recovery Services. We also have Sam Groves here with us today, our CFO, in case there's any questions. And then I'll be handing it over to Karen to speak in just a moment. What I can share is that there are no immediate impacts at BHRS. Many of our programs are funded through Medi-Cal, and Medi-Cal remains funded ongoing. However, I would like to invite Karen Service, our Funding Development Manager, to speak to potential impacts to our department grants.
Good morning. We have two discretionary grants. So discretionary grants on the federal level are the ones that we apply for that are competitive grants. One of them is through the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and that's through the Health Resources Services Administration. This is for infrastructure. We received this grant in fiscal year 22, so it's already been appropriated for $2 million. However, we have not drawn down funds. It's to help with the renovation of 800 Scenic. Right now, we have a delay in the program scope approval. We're actually submitting plans and things to HRSA for them to approve because all of the program staff on their end has been furloughed. So this grant ends July 31st, 2026. That's our final encumbrance date. So if they do not return shortly, we may have some delays in approval of our project. The second one is Department of Justice. We have a Bureau of Justice Assistance grant. It's a fiscal year 23 comprehensive opioid stimulant and substance use site-based program, or COSEP. This is our second round of this grant. The first one was fiscal year 19. It funds 3 positions on the CARE 1.0 team, 1 staff from BHRS, 1 from HSA, and the other through a subcontract with Center for Human Services. That's the SUD counselor. For the first 10 days of this month, the Just Grant system, which is basically the grant portal that we go into to file the federal financial reports and also upload our program reports, was completely shut down. We could not get into it at all. They did open that up on Fridays, so we're going to be able to file our federal financial report for the quarter and also upload any program reports. One thing to note on these discretionary grants is that we draw down funds as a cost reimbursement. We are not allowed to hold treasury funds unliquidated any more than 10 days from when we receive that deposit from the U.S. Treasury. So both payment systems are still open, so that's good, but we just have zero communication with our requisite program staff at those agencies because they've been furloughed. Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
I do have one thing I need to mention. So on the COSUP grant, there is one thing beyond the shutdown that we are concerned about, and that's that a lot of the Department of Justice grants have been changed or pulled back, and so our concern is that the COSUP program will not be available for us to apply for in fiscal year 26. So that is a concern that we have, and that would leave 3 positions unfunded. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for being here this morning. Christine Hubert, can you go ahead and come on up? And Christine will be discussing impacts at the Community Services Agency. And then after Christine, Angela Freitas will have you up for planning. Okay.
Morning again. I will start with some good news in that CSA has 3 contracts directly with the federal government, and those are with Housing and Urban Development, which we have 2, and one that supports APS services and from the Administration for Community Living. These grants were funded in previous fiscal years. There is appropriations for this funding. So we are still able to draw down this funding, and there should be no issues with claiming the work that we do under those grants. The other thing was, I guess, as a majority of our funding comes to the state of California, and then they fund the 58 counties, and the same thing happens with our claiming. We send our claims to the state, and then they claim directly from the federal government. And so they... either the federal government is still providing funding for those services, or there are reserves at the state to cover either the costs we're incurring in the county or the benefits that our community receives. And so that's everything from Medicaid, which is Medi-Cal in California, to CalWORKS, or temporary assistance for needy families, as it's called at the federal level. It also covers our entitlement programs for child welfare. The state is still making claims for that. Social Security, they are still taking applications, although they said there could be a slowing in processing those applications. So as Jody mentioned earlier, there still is a possibility we're still able to claim, or the state's able to claim that funding, but there could be potentially a slowdown in receiving the reimbursements to the state. The one area that we are tracking very closely is for the benefits for CalFresh. So this would be access to food. And while this is overseen by the United States Department of Agriculture, and they do say in their federal shutdown plan that they will fund this program, they also state that it is dependent if funds are available. So they're using multi-year carryover funds and contingency reserves to support SNAP, as it's called, at a federal level, and other nutrition programs. And so the state has shared that they had funding to cover October's CalFresh benefits to our customers. We have not yet heard about November yet. In the most recent data we have, which is for June of 2025, The amount of benefits for the federal level are $17.2 million that are issued to Stanislaus residents. And this is, again, only the federal cost. And so we still are monitoring it daily and waiting for communications from Department of Social Services about November benefits.
So Christine, sorry. It's $17 million a year?
A month.
A month, okay, 17 million a month. And how many families, how many individuals is that?
It's approximately 60,000 people.
Residents of Stanislaus County?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So we are monitoring this very closely and waiting for communications from Department of Social Services about November's benefits. But everything else, there should be no break-in benefits or programs. Everything has a contingency plan to be covered.
Any questions for Christine?
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much. We'll have Angela Freitas, our planning director, up, and when Angela's done, we'll invite Heather DeVoe from our Health Services Agency up.
Good morning. So the Planning Department's Community Development Services has about $4.7 million in potential exposure with the close down from HUD funding. That's our Community Development Block Grants, our Home Investment Partnership Grants, and the Emergency Solution Grants. Currently, HUD's oversight approval functions are suspended, but we do have access to our previously obligated funds through the HUD system. There's nobody there to work the system, but as long as it automates through, we should be okay. What we cannot get any action on is anything that requires any environmental clearances, technical reviews, or grant amendments. So our most immediate concerns with the impacts is due to delays in reimbursements, and that could be cash flow constraints on our nonprofit organizations that depend on timely reimbursements to fill their funding gaps, particularly in their ability to operate. Housing and homeless services, our emergency solution grants funding for shelters and rapid rehousing programs could see interruptions in the rental assistance and case management. And then our public services, they're supported by community development block grants that include food distribution, child care, and crisis assistance, may also experience some temporary reductions and disruptions. In addition, with the CDBG and the home fund projects, if we need to get amendments to move some of the fund or environmental clearances, in particular with the infrastructure and the affordable housing, those could be tied up. So the $4.7 million in exposure is approximately $2.7 in community development block grants, $1.2 million in home, $200,000 in emergency solution grants, and then $700,000 in neighborhood stabilization program funds that we had hoped to plan on the reuse of those. So we are just closely monitoring fund balances, maintaining communications, and preparing ourselves to act swiftly when the shutdown is over. If there's any questions? Thank you.
Okay, Heather, we'll go ahead and have you come up for Health Services Agency, and then following Heather and our last speaker today will be Doris Foster from Workforce Development.
Okay, good morning. Much of what I have to say mirrors what Christine is saying, and similarly, we have some programs that are federally funded, but those do come through the state, and so there have been appropriations already, or there are essential services that are covered, like Medi-Cal and things like that. So we're not saying clinics still open, things like that. The one area in public health that is our greatest concern, and you've probably seen in the news, is the WIC program. So that's the Women, Infants, and Children's program. As you're aware, this is a nutrition education and breastfeeding support program that also provides nutrition food benefits to families. With this program, our WIC caseload for the county is over 20,000 participants per month, and that is benefits for those families, as well as on average month they redeem $1.5 million of those food benefits and formula, et cetera, in our local economy. Our program is funded at $5.9 million for the federal fiscal year, and there's 45 staff that work in that program. This is, as I said, through the USDA and then to the California Department of Public Health. Because this program is on the federal fiscal year and always part of this challenge with the continuing resolution, us with the state are monitoring this very carefully. We did receive some good news right at the end of last week where the state is projecting that they do have funds through the first week in November, but there were some contingency dollars that USDA released to carry that through. So we're hopeful that that will remain as projected, but we are monitoring that and other programs very closely. Okay.
All right, any questions for Heather? Okay, and Doris.
Good morning. Our problem goes a little further from the shutdown. So back in 2014, Congress approved our into law Workforce Innovations and Opportunity Act. That's where we help businesses and help individuals. Through the Department of Labor, activities under WIOA have not been fully authorized since 2020. And so we receive a continuously temporary annual appropriations process. Congress has been in active discussions to reauthorize legislation to update to address current market needs. A bipartisan bill was approved called ASWA, A Stronger Workforce for American Act, and it passed the House in 2025 but failed to pass Senate. This has left reauthorization in limbo. So we are continuously in discussions. So the way WIOA works is we're forward funded. So federal fiscal year in 2024-2025, they approve in the budget this current fiscal year for us, for 25-26. We're fully funded for this year. What we are worried about is in 25-26, they are struggling to figure out how they're going to fund us. There's conversations that it could be a gap year, which means we won't be forward funded. We would funded for next year, so we would have to come up with the funding coming up. There's also the president's budget has a proposal for a Make America Skilled Again, which would be a block grant that then would go down to the state. Of our funding, 38%, which is approximately 8.6%, is our federal funding through WIOA. We are reimbursement funded. 2% of that is training dollars that goes out into our community. The only issues that we're having with the shutdown is delays in getting our reimbursement back. But our bigger concern is, will we be in this current budget, and what will it look like going forward? Thank you.
Or do you expect, are the delays because they can't process, or are the delays because they're just holding on to the money?
There's disagreement on the act that is going forward. There's some immigration things that are in there, and there's something in there for disability. So there's issues that there's just struggling to find a compromise on what it should look like.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doris, and thank you for all the department heads that joined us this morning. As the shutdown continues, or if it continues, we'll continue to invite you back as anything changes materially with our county departments. But I think the message is pretty clear that if the shutdown does continue for the next few weeks or so, you're going to begin to see real impacts here in the community. So that concludes our update this morning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jody. All right, that leads us to adjournment. However, we do have closed session.
Yes, we have closed session this morning still. The first item is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, Subdivision D1. We have two cases to consider. Palazinski versus Stanislaus County et al. That's in the U.S. District Court, Eastern District. And the case number is 24 CV 01974. We also have Lopez et al. Versus County of Stanislaus et al. That's in the Eastern District. And the case number there is 25 CV 01175. The second item is a conference with a real property negotiator. The property is 4601 Clarabelle Road, County of Stanislaus. The agency negotiators are David Lehman and Arden Shaverden. The negotiating party is Justin Ross, Janelle Van Dyke, and Donald M. McWilliams as trustee of the Jeremy Ross Living Trust, dated March 25th, 2006. Under negotiation is both terms of payment and price. That is pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. The third item is conference with labor negotiators. That is being held pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. The agency negotiators are Jody Hayes, Ryan Leop, and Jonah Navarro. The labor organizations is Service Employees International Union, Local 521, County Attorneys Association, and the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Management Association. And with that, appropriate for public comment.
Any public comment on closed session item? Seeing none, we'll be going into closed session. Deputy Middleton, thank you for your overwatch.